Good morning. Hand today is going to be 10-2 offsuit. We are mid position. Folds to us, we fold that. Button raises 2.5, and then the small blind 3 bets to 4, so basically a min raise here. And the button calls. So interesting thing is that this player I have I have a note that says more on the passive side. So he 3-bet, and it's a small 3-bet. It's a min raise. So let's see what we can do. This guy's playing 32, 11, 9. Again, his stats look like he's more of a loose passive player, probably not raising a whole lot. And I think his stats play that out. Limp first ins at 14%, raise first ins at 14%. You can see that he's raised first in 3 out of 11 in early position, 1 out of 10 in mid position, but then out of a total of 7 hands, he did not raise first in from the cutoff or button. That could be that he just didn't have those hands. Because again, limping, you've got 3 hands that he didn't limp, but then 2 out of 4 on the button. So I think overall this guy's range is going to be fairly tight. This is like 12%. I think this is what we're looking at. You've got suited Broadway. You've got ace jack off, ace jack off or better, king queen, pocket pairs, maybe down to 5s. Could be 6s or 7s. Maybe some suited connectors. Again, fairly tight in terms of their raise first in stat. This player is also pretty tight. When we look at 3-bets, 2%, so 9 out of 376. This suggests something like queens plus ace king. That's what that looks like. Even if we look at steal, the steal stats. So called steal 3 out of 16, 4 out of 17. He's called, but 3-bets versus them. Really hasn't done that. Yeah, he's 3-bet on the button against a cut and open, but I bet that's value. He's not like defending against a steal or anything. And that is a kind of a weakness that I have, is that I don't normally, my 3-bets are usually tight with the occasional weaker hand as balance. I think a big part of that is that I don't think a whole lot of people are trying to steal from the cutoff. So I just play tight. But again, that's the one time he 3-bet. So we look at his notes. He is on the passive sides. We've got 3-bet range, kings plus jacks. You've got ace king. You've got queen 8 off. And then 3-bet blind versus steal, you only have ace king suited and queen 8. So I said we had queens plus ace king. That kind of fits the percentages, but he has jacks. So I think this is probably a spot where he could be playing jacks plus ace king. And then I think ace queen could fall in there as well, like ace queen suited. I'm not sure about the offsuit. Not really even sure about any of the ace queen, but and we probably don't even need to include it. So that's 3%. We're going to go with that. Now it comes back to this player. He has to call, so he did not 4-bet it. We've got 53 hands, so we're not going to really know what 4-bet range is, but usually 4-bets are going to be aces and kings, and occasionally that ace king. And I'm going to say, he's only been at the table 53 hands. I'm going to assume that he does not know how this player plays. Because if it was me and he comes in and he 3-bets me, I'm thinking he's got this range here that he has a very, very tight range. I'm going to be dumping hands. Yeah, you've got, draws and whatnot. You've got your hands that do have equity, but you're already behind to a solid hand here. All right, so we go to the flop of 8-5-2 that is going to miss everyone. 8-5-2. Now he bets half pot. I do think that is consistent with the overpairs. Would he do it with Ace king. Well, let's see if we have any c-bet stat here. No, we don't. C-bet 76, 71. Okay, so I'm gonna say maybe he has that. Looks like he goes c-bet stats, 70 plus, and then I bet he becomes mostly honest. So really drops off when he's in position, but out of position he's continuing. That kind of leads me to think that he's playing a super good strong hand, so he would fire again. So the question is, would he do this again with the ace king? And I'm gonna say yes. At a minimum, I think it's gonna be like the ace king spades. We'll do that. We'll just include all of them. All right, so he bets half pot. This guy calls. This guy, I have to imagine, is calling somewhat weakly. It is possible he has a set. He has an overpair. I guess top pair. We'll say he calls all of these plus. I wouldn't. Yeah, villain could have ace king, but 16 combos of ace king versus 24 combos of the pocket pair, and this guy's just so tight that I'm gonna imagine that any Broadway, any ace or king, it's gonna be hard to call. And if I have an ace king myself, then you're looking at reducing the chance that we're going to see one on the flop, reduces the chance that he has an ace king, so forth, or see that next card on the turn or river. So we've got that hand. This guy's call, we're going to say any pair. We're going to say the flush draw. Should we include overcards with this? I'm going to say no. Although fold, well, 1 out of 4. And first time he's been in position, so we'll go with that. 9 of clubs comes out. Villain bets again. Now he bet half pot. Now he's betting less than a third, about a third. We'll say a third. Now we're betting a third, and villain calls. So at this point, I think maybe if he has the ace king, it's only going to be the ace king spades. He is passive, so I'm going to give him the overpair. This guy calling. I mean, if he's stubborn, he's going to call these pocket pairs again. And maybe because now you've had a reduction. So bet sizing 6-7 gets there. That could justify his smaller bet, where he's concerned that somebody has the straight. Ace king, though, could also kind of size down. So we're going to do flush draw. We're going to keep, I mean, open ender, that's going to still be the flush draw, but I think we're going to keep that. Flush draw and then pocket pair plus. 8 of hearts gets there. He bets 25%, basically. And at this point, I don't imagine ace king is betting here. I mean, he could, but I just don't imagine going a third street unless he's thinking that villain is on that spade draw. And at this point, he's betting a small amount to try to entice a call. Make weaker hands because you did half pot. If you keep getting bigger, you're going to narrow the range, narrow the calling range. So he calls. I think at this point, it's got to be maybe top pair, over pair. Quads in full house would have raised. I think quads in full house probably just call on that turn, um, and we can go back to the flop. Do we think he would raise the set? Yeah, I think he would have raised the set. So let's go back and kind of fix this. 9 of clubs. Yeah, I think sets are going to be raising 2 pair. I think are probably going to be raising. I mean, well, we'll leave the set. We'll leave 2 pair as a call, and then we get the ace of hearts. So yeah, full house is going to raise. He didn't raise, so we're going to keep that. I think over pair maybe top pair. Just don't think the weak pair is gonna call here. So we've got our hands. We've got our final range. He shows queen 5. That is a weak pair. I didn't have queen 5 in his range. That I think that would have fallen under the 6s and 7s. And now he shows queen 8. So we had the hand that had the queen 8 here. I think that's unusual for him. I mean, we had queen 8, 3-bet blind versus steals, but it's like queen 8 offsuit. You're going to have to put together such a big range for him that to me it just doesn't make sense. So you have that queen 8. I mean, in order to fit that range, you're going to be adding like all of the ace x hands, probably, these hands like this, everything on like this line and above, and then you're suited, which is like the only ones you're not going to play would be these, this group there. That just runs counter to his stats. Tight passive, queen 8, right? So this is probably just out of the ordinary. So let's just kind of take a note on him. 3-bet min raise versus in small blind versus button 2.5 big blind RFI with queen of diamonds, 8 of clubs. It's out of position. You bet 50%, bet 33%, bet 25%. On an 8 of diamonds, 5 of spades, 2 of spades, 9 of clubs, 8 of hearts. Okay. Well, that's unusual. And then this guy gets his first. And call, small blind, min raise 3-bet with queen 5 of clubs. He is in position. All 50%, call 33%, call 25%. All right, so yeah, missed these hands, missed them both. Just didn't even have them in their opening range. I'll say the queen 5, yeah, kind of fits with those small pocket pairs, 6s and 7s. I just thought, 3 streets, you really going to call that again? Really going to call that again? This kind of makes sense, decreasing, so the smaller bet sizing encourages more call, keeps more hands in there. So yeah, once you get to the river, I think people will think smaller sizing is weaker hands, and I think a lot of the time that's true. This guy, yeah, smaller sizing. I think he did that here because the 9 came out and he's passive and starts to get scared that he's behind. But then once that other 8 comes out, he should know that he's good. He should know that he's good. The spade draw misses. All right, so we'll just end here, get this posted. Hope you enjoy this. And if you're working through this hand too, and you miss these cards, hey, we miss the cards. This is why we do it. We try to build better ranges. I think this is just out of the ordinary form. I think typically this is his range. Maybe he throws in ace queen as well, and then he's just gonna pick some hands just to bluff. And if we could find another 3-bet hand with this guy, especially from the blinds, we'll probably see that the chance that we see another like one of these junky hands is going to be pretty low. All right, hopefully you enjoy this. If you do, look tomorrow for another.